We get asked quite frequently about using males, Male Dactylifera. Medules create a beautiful fruit that unfortunately we can't really grow to eat. Our humidity combined with heat and all the sugar in the fruit results in the fruit basically fermenting. So anyone who's had medules on a landscape site knows that if you don't cut the seed off, you will have seed all over the ground. And if it falls onto a deck or onto, hardscape, it's going to make a heck of a mess. Now, there are steps you can take to avoid having that occur, but the simplest answer in many people's minds is, why not use males? Males don't produce fruit, and that is true. Males do not produce fruit. They produce a stamen, and the stamen just has little teeny flowers on it that produce pollen. There's no seed to drop on the ground. But there's another consideration that professionals have to keep in mind, and it's this. Medules are clones. Medules are grown from shoots, and they're genetically identical from one palm to the next. It makes them very predictable, and in that predictability lay reliability. We know what a medule will do in any given set of cultural conditions because we've been using them for 30 years now. We have seen them installed in pretty much every microclimate and exposed to pretty much every cultural scenario that they'll ever be exposed to in the southeast or the southern United States. Because of that, we have a big long track record of performance, and it tells us exactly what to avoid, and it tells us where the palms will thrive, where they'll do okay, and where you shouldn't use them, right? Males, on the other hand, are grown from seed. Now, bear in mind that all of these Dactylifera are a product of an arid climate. And it means that any males that we or anyone else brings in are going to be coming in from California or Arizona where they were grown in an arid climate. The key to success with these palms is they must acclimate well to a humid climate. The medule does, no question about it. Males, on the other hand, and I'm sure the girls are going to laugh when I say these, males are totally unpredictable. They're completely unpredictable, and because of that, they're not terribly reliable. The date farmer in California or Arizona is not concerned with cross-pollination related issues when he's pollinating the females with male pollen. He needs the males to pollinate the females so the fruit, the seed, will become edible. That's the only reason he needs it. He's not looking to grow the seed. He's not taking it and planting it. He's basically selling it for all of us to eat, right? Well, males, the way they come up with the males is they plant a whole bunch of seed, a bunch of them grow. They can identify the sex as they get older. They separate out the males. They throw away the seedling females because they're useless to them. They then plant a row of males along the outside edges of a block of females. Those males grow up. They produce pollen. The pollen is harvested. It's placed in the fridge. The females then produce inflorescence, and as the inflorescence emerge, go out in the field using the pollen mixed with actually sugar water to pollinate the females, and that's a whole part of the date producing process, right? But the males themselves are a product of cross-pollination. There was a male's pollen that was used to pollinate the female, thereby creating a genetic hybrid, the mix of the two, and the males then grow. We have absolutely no way of knowing what the genetic background of any particular male is. Now, we can match them. We can look at different males and look for canopies that look similar. But what we simply do not know is how that palm is going to react once we bring it into a humid climate. We don't know. We don't know how that particular palm is going to deal with disease issues that are typical here, that are not typical out in the desert. We have no way of knowing up front what that male will do when exposed to these diseases. We know that if we bring in a group of 10 males, it's totally normal that a few of them are going to go backwards at some point. That something that doesn't normally happen with medules will happen with them. Higher susceptibility to Phytophthora, higher susceptibility to Diopsis, phytoplasm disease. We just don't know. So we warn everyone up front. If you want males, understand that they're unpredictable. We can't tell you for sure what they're going to do over 5 years or 10 years or 15 or 20 years. We can't. With a true medule that are all females, there's no such thing as Phoenix dactylifera medule male. That does not exist. All males are seedlings. no males are true medules. So there's a little bit of a confusion out there because I see that sometimes on landscape plans. And it's the LA saying, I want the best of all worlds, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit. If there was a way that I could absolutely ascertain which males will do well and which would fail, then I would do that. But unfortunately there isn't. I've tried, it's just not possible. So if you're speccing males simply because you don't want the seed, then also be aware of this. Females produce seed once a year, right? The seed emerges in March. By the end of May, the inflorescence, the date stalks have grown out far enough that they can be safely cut without inadvertently nicking the spear fronds that are very near to the emergence point of those inflorescences. If you remove all of that, it's about 1.5 man-hours per palm per year. That's literally what the entire investment is. About 1.5 man-hours. You remove all the date stalks, off to the dump they go, and you're cutting them off before the seed's ever falling on the ground. It's really not that complicated. Getting the timing right is what's important. You don't want to wait till July when they're making a mess everywhere. Right about the middle, end of May, you go out and look, you can see they've all grown out far enough. Get up there on a ladder, cut them off, take them out, Bob's your uncle. Nothing to it. Now, every now and then, a medule will produce 1 or 2 date stalks out of season. It doesn't happen very often. It can happen, very rare, but that's again a product of your guys being out on site saying, hey, that palm produced 1 more date stalk. Get up there and cut it off. That's literally all that's involved in avoiding having the seed landing on the ground. That's literally it. And in exchange for it, what you get is absolute reliability because you have true medules on site. Worth considering.